We're in the Gemara Sanhedrin, Peita Summit Bays, in the all the way by the bottom of the page. In the Schottenstein Gemara, it's 89b5. So right now we're at the 3 lines from the end of the page. Peita Summit Bays. Okay, the Gemara said before that Madiche Ira Nidachas, the people that convinced a city, okay, to get killed. So the machlek is between the Chachamim hold you get skila, Rabbi Shimon says you get chenek, right? That means the guy that causes the people of Ira Nidachas to sin. So according to the Chachamim, the punishment for that guy is stoning. According to Rabbi Shimon, the punishment is strangulation. So the Gemara says, my time is the Rabbanim. Where did the Chachamim learn that it's skila? Because the Torah doesn't say what death it is. So the Gemara says, Gomer hadacha, or memis, we learn out the Gzeir Shava. Here it says hadacha, there it says hadacha, or the word mesis, or minavish shehediach. Meaning, over there, by the other sins, it says the punishment is skila. And here you have the word mediach, mesis, the similar words. So therefore we learn out that a guy that wants to convince a city to go worship idols, Ira Nidachas, gets skila. Rab Shimon, why does he say the punishment is chenek, strangulation, not stoning? He said, Gomer adocha minavi. He doesn't learn out from mesis, he learns it out, here it says hadacha, and by a navi, by a false prophet, it also said the word, or by a navi that convinces others to sin. So here he learns it out from a navi. Just by a navi the punishment is chenek, so therefore madich ir skila. In other words, like this, everybody says there's a gzeir shava. Everybody says, the question is, do you learn it out from mesis, that the punishment is skila, or do you learn it out from a navi, that the punishment is chenek? So the Gemara asks, why does Rabbi Shimon learn it out from navi? Why didn't he hold like the Chacham? There's a gzeir shava anyway. There's a gzeir shava from mesis, there's a gzeir shava from adiach. So why does he learn it out from navi? Let him learn it out from mesis, like the Chachamim do. Because he says, done in mesis rabim, because you learn out public instigators from public instigators, then done in mesis rabim mesis yachid. And therefore he says like this, the Chachamim are learning it out from a private instigator. Here we're learning about a public instigator. So Rabbi Shimon says you can't learn out a private instigator from a public instigator, you can't learn out a public instigator from a private instigator, because it's a whole different din. So Gemara says, Adarab, done in hedyet mehedet, vein done in hedyet minavi. Okay. The question is, so why does Rabbi Shimon learn it out from a navi? Right, that's what he learns it out, that you get chenek because you learn it out from a prophet. Why? But a prophet is not a regular person. Why are you learning out a regular person from a navi? That also doesn't make sense. So why didn't you learn it out from... So Gemara says, very simple. Reb Shimon says, Kivan Shediach, once the prophet started worshiping idols, he's not a Navi anymore, he's a Hedyot. So you learn not learning out from the Kedusha of a Navi, that's a holy person, a separate person. Once he sins, he's a regular person, not a Navi anymore. So he's an individual. So we learn out individual from individual. Therefore the Gemara says that the argument is a guy that's Madiche Ira Nidachas, okay, the guy that's in the Ira Nidachas, so they get, according to Chacham, they get skila, according to Rabbi Shimon, they get chenek.
But private instigator is much closer than public than navi to public. Private instigator is closer. Is the instigator...
No, the Chacham you learn out instigator from instigator. One's public, one's private, doesn't matter. Instigator is instigator. Rabbi Shimon says, no, you can't learn out private from public, or public from private. So therefore we have to learn out private from private. Whereas the only private is Navi. Right? So therefore we learn out that it's chenek. The Gemara's Navi is not it's a Hedyot versus a Navi. Why are you learning out? So Gemara says, once he sinned, he's not a Navi anymore. It's the same thing like a Hedyot. Okay. Amir Rav Chisda said. So Lepel, we have a machlekes between the Chacham and Rab Shimon. Is the punishment skila like the Chachamim hold, or is it chenek? So Rab Chisda comes along and says now like this: machlekes, the whole argument to Rab Shimon and the Chachamim is be'ei keguf davedes Chachamim. What does the guy do? He abolishes the whole din of Avodah Zarah. And this is what Gemara is going to discuss. You have sometimes a guy that comes along, either he says he's a Navi or whatever, and he abolishes the whole mitzvah. In other words, he says there's no Avodah Zarah. There's no concept of Avodah Zarah. There's no Shabbos. Sometimes he abolishes a whole mitzvah, and sometimes he abolishes a part of the mitzvah. Like he'll say, you can't worship idols, but you can sacrifice to an idol. But he's not abolishing the whole concept of Avodah Zarah. So the Chisda says like this.
It's general.
1 second. So he says like this. Machlekes, the argument between Rab Shimon and Chacham by Avodah Zarah, Skila, or Chenek, is when he either uproots the entire din of Avodah Zarah, or V'kiyem mitzvahs ubitul mitzvahs Avodah Chacham, or one who dictates keeping part of the mitzvahs and nullifies part of the of Avodah Zarah. Meaning, it doesn't say partially. In other words, he doesn't uproot it completely. So in either case, that's when the machlekes is. In other words, he's saying what he's coming to is like this. The argument is only by Avodah Zarah. Whether you uproot part of Avodah Zarah or whether you uproot the whole Avodah Zarah. Then the argument is you get skila or chenek. Well, what happens if he wants to uproot other mitzvahs? Like he says, there's no Shabbos. So then the punishment is not, then they're not arguing. Well, let's see it inside. The Achmon, because by Avodah Zarah, the Gemara, the Torah says, min haderech. He says, they push him off min haderech. Meaning not the whole derech, from the derech of Hashem. Meaning even a little bit of Avodah Zarah. Partial Avodah Zarah. Aval eiken aguf the shar mitzvahs. But if somebody uproots the whole essence of other mitzvahs, like he says, there's no Shabbos. Divrei hakol chenek. Everybody says that guy is the Navi is going to get chenek. Meaning like this. The argument that Rab Shimon and Chacham had was by a Navi that told people to go worship idols. So then the argument is, we learn it out from Maces, do you learn it out from Navi, whatever it is. So the bottom line of it is, it only speaks by Avodah Zarah, the argument. Whether they uproot part of Avodah Zarah or the complete Avodah Zarah, the punishment is either skil or chenek. But they're arguing. What happens if a Navi comes and says, you don't have to keep Shabbos at all, you don't have to keep kosher at all? Then everybody says the punishment is not skila, everybody says it's chenek.
It should be higher than skila.
No.
Because it's
Avodah Zarah is worse.
Right.
Skila is worse.
Right.
No.
So how come he's getting chenek? This guy is saying that the whole thing is out.
The whole Shabbos is out.
Right. So
That's not as bad as it's saying Avodah Zarah is out. But part of Avodah. No, it's not. Why?
Is that worse?
No. Avodah Zarah is the worst. And he says, what happens? Kiyam mixes, Subitul mixes, and Shan mitzvahs. This is what Rav Chisda holds. What happens if a Navi says, you can't do certain things, you're allowed to do certain things on Shabbos, but certain things not. That means he's not uprooting the entire Shabbos. Then he says, Divrei hakol pater. He doesn't get any punishment. He's not going to get any punishment. In other words, according to Rav Chisda, the Torah only punishes a Navi that convinces people to sin. It's either by Avodah Zarah, then the argument is skila or chenek, or by all other mitzvahs, so get chenek, but that's only if he uproots the whole mitzvah. But what happens if he says, okay, you can eat tray for animals, but you cannot have meat and milk. So he's uprooting part of kashrus, not the whole kashrus. Then the din is he doesn't get punished at all. Not that he's allowed to do it, but he doesn't get punished.
No punishment at all?
Right. That's what Rav Chisda holds.
Because not even lawful.
No, nothing. Potter. And he says, because they even, I mean, the Mepharshim explain, because it says, Asher Yazid ledaber dover b'shmi. Now, why does he dover? Ledaber b'shmi, to speak in my name. And David comes and says, in God's name, you don't have to keep mitzvahs. Why does it say dover b'shmi, a thing? From there, the Gemara learns out, he's only punished when he gets rid of a whole thing, a whole dover, not a part of a dover. Okay, so now the Gemara asks a question of Rav Chisda. That's what Rav Chisda held. Martzev Rav Amnuna asked the question, 1 minute. It says in the Torah the word lalechas. This is a brisa. It says in the word lalechas refers to positive mitzvahs. Because what does it mean, go? Go means doing. Ba, the person said lalechas ba. Ba is leisasa. Yep. So the Gemara says like this: when does a Navi get skila and chanek? And the machlekes Reb Shimon and the Chachamim is like this: if he uproots a positive mitzvah and a negative mitzvah. So the Gemara asks the question: there's no positive mitzvah in connection to Avodah Zarah. What do you have? The Gemara is going to answer it, obviously. But the Gemara says, where do you have a positive mitzvah with idol worshipping? The Brisa says, when do you get skila? When you abolish a positive and a negative. Right? But the Gemara says there's no positive by Avodah Zarah. So what does that mean? So the Gemara says there is. Take Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda answers the question like this. It says, V'nitzatztem is mizbechaisam. There's a positive mitzvah in the Torah to destroy idol places. To destroy idols and idol places. So therefore he says that's the positive mitzvah of Avodah Zarah. Like this, it's interesting. All the mitzvah of Avodah Zarah are all negative commandments. The only positive mitzvah with idol worshipping is the Torah says you have to destroy idols. So if Chisda says you do find a positive mitzvah by idols. Okay, Rav Amnuna Amar, Rav Amnuna does not accept Rav Chisda's opinion. Rav Chisda said the argument is only by Avodah Zarah, whether they uprooted whole or part. By any other mitzvah, if they uproot the whole, if they uproot part, they're not chayiv at all. Right? That's what Rav Chisda said. Comes along and Rav Amnuna says no. Machlekes be'eker aguf. The argument in Reb Shimon and the Chacham, if you get skila or chenek, is when the Navi uproots an entire mitzvah. Bein Avedis kochavim, bein shar mitzvahs. Whether it's idol worshipping or any other mitzvah. Bekia mixes, ubitul mixes, Avedis kochavim, or uprooting the whole Avodah Zarah, part of Avodah Zarah, the Achmana min aderech, afilu mixes aderech. Even by Avodah Zarah, even part of it. Avol kia mitzvahs. Ubetul mixes the shar mitzvahs, but if the Navi says by all other mitzvahs, part mitzvahs keep, and part of kosher keep, part of kosher don't keep, then everybody says pater. Not like Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said, if you uproot what's it? Avokim mitzvahs, a bit, yeah. So Rav Amnuna holds by any other mitzvah, even if he uproots the whole mitzvah, he's pater. No, I'm sorry, no.
I said no.
No, he says whole other mitzvahs also. But if it's part mitzvahs and bittul mitzvahs of every other mitzvah, everybody says pater. That means like this. According to Rav Amnuna, okay, and this is where one second. Oh yeah, sorry. He argues in one detail Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said if you uproot an entire mitzvah, everybody says chenek. That's what Rav Chisda said. If you uproot any other mitzvah, the entire mitzvah, you get killed, but it's chenek. And Rav Hamnuna says no. If you uproot a whole other mitzvah, it's the argument skila or chenek. In other words, like this, both Rav Chisda and Rav Hamnuna hold by other mitzvahs. If you uproot part of the mitzvah, you don't get killed. The argument is, if you uproot a complete mitzvah, but not by Avodah Zarah, by other mitzvahs. So Rav Chisda says, there's still the argument Rav Shimon and the Chachamim whether he gets skila or chenek. No, I'm sorry, that's what Rav Hamnuna holds. Rav Hamnuna holds that there's still the argument whether it's skila or chenek. But if, according to Rav Chisda, if you uproot an entire mitzvah, it's chenek. Nobody argues. So the whole difference between Rav Hamnuna and Rav Chisda is, if somebody uproots the entire other mitzvah, according to Rav Chisda, they're still arguing stoning a chenek, and according to, I'm sorry, that's Rav Hamnuna's opinion. Rav Hamnuna says it's still the same argument, skila or chenek, and Rav Chisda says no, everybody says you get chenek. If you uproot an entire other mitzvah.
If it's not entire, it's just partly, they're partly.
Everybody agrees they're potter. Because we don't find the pasuk, and like the Gemara says, we learned it out before from the word davar. By all the other mitzvahs, it says, ledaber davar bishmi. To speak something in my name. Now, it doesn't have to say the word davar, it's extra. Ledaber bishmi, to speak in my name. What do you mean, to speak a word in my name? So the Gemara learns out from there, davar means a whole thing. So by uprooting mitzvahs, other mitzvahs, only if you uproot it is there punishment. Again, either chenek or skila chenek. But if you uproot part of a mitzvah, the Torah never speaks about that. Whoa. The Torah never speaks about that.
So it's partly.
Potter. Okay, tell the Rabbanan learned. If a guy says a prophecy to uproot something for any mitzvah of the Torah, what are you doing?
The bean is bent in.
Huh?
The bean is bent in.
From the wind?
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa. Shimshon, you're supposed to be the one with koyach.
I was afraid, like Shimshon, I would
knock down the whole dome. Okay, let's go. Tell the Rabbanan learn. Hamisnabe laka davim min atayra. If a prophet comes to uproot an entire law of the Torah chayiv, what happens? The kaya mitzvahs to levatel mixes, to keep part and to nullify part. Reb Shimon pater. Reb Shimon says you pater. By the way, which even the Chachamim agree to that, both according to Rav Chisda and Rav Hamnuna. Part of any other mitzvah, everybody says pater. But of Avedis Kochavim, but by idol worshipping, afilu aimev duo macha bitluah, even by Avodah Zarah, if they say today worship it and tomorrow don't worship it, Divrei HaKol Chayiv, everybody says Chayiv. Okay, so the Gemara says like this. Abaya, Savala, Rav Chisda. Later on, these were earlier people. Rav Chisda and Rav Hamnuna were much earlier. So now the Gemara says, Abaya held like Rav Chisda. Again, what did Rav Chisda hold? The argument is by Avodah Zarah. Even part of Avodah Zarah, skila or chenek. Any other mitzvah, abolishing completely, Rav Chisda says, is chenek according to everybody, part is potter. So Abaye held like Rav Chisda. Rava Savalo Rav Hamnuna. Rava learns like Rav Hamnuna that what even by abolishing a whole mitzvah, not Avodah Zarah, any other mitzvah, is still the argument between Reb Shimon and the Chachamim if it's Gila or Chenek. And he says, okay, Abaye Savlak Rav Chisda, Abaye, because now you have to explain the brayso we just said, according to both opinions, that should make sense. So Abaye explains, holds like Rav Chisda, and explains the brayso like this. If somebody uproots an entire mitzvah in the Torah, right? Again, Rav Chisda held you get chenek. L'divrei kol b'chenek. Okay? L'kayim mitzvahs or levatel mitzvahs. What happens if the Navi comes along and says keep part of Shabbos and that part of Shabbos? Then Shimon Peter gu adin l'chachamim. Same thing with chachamim. V'avedas kochavim, and by idol worshipping, afilu amevdu ayim. Even if the Navi says today worship idols and tomorrow don't, meaning he says it's a one-day idol worshipping. Chayiv, he's chayiv. What? Market Islay, according to the Chachamim, it would be skila. Market Islay, this guy holds what he holds, meaning Reb Shimon holds chenek, yeah. So now this is the way Abaye learns the brayso. That, how does he explain the brayso? If somebody comes to uproot a whole mitzvah, remember Abaye said Rav Chisda, everybody says it's chenek. So Abaye said that's what the brayso is saying. If you uproot any other mitzvah, the punishment is chenek. By Avodah Zarah, Reb Shimon says skila, and Chachamim Chachamim skila, Reb Shimon says chenek. Okay. Now, Rava Savala Rav Hamnuna. So Rava learns like Rav Hamnuna, and Matarzo Rav Hamnuna, and he explains the brayso according to Rav Hamnuna, meaning as follows. Hamisna belaka davim min atayra. If somebody uproots a whole mitzvah, no Shabbos, then bein ba'avedas kochavim bein b'shar mitzvahs, whether it's Avodah Zarah or any other mitzvah, chayiv. What? Market Islay, the Chachamim, like they hold, meaning skila. Market Islay, Reb Shimon, according to what he says, is chenek. But again, the argument is both by any other mitzvah or Avodah Zarah, if you uproot the whole thing. The Kayim mitzvahs or levatel mitzvahs b'shar mitzvahs. But what happens if a Navi comes to uproot other mitzvahs, but partial of other mitzvahs, not the entire mitzvah? Reb Shimon Peter, v'adin l'Rabbanan. Same thing according to Chacham. That everybody can read before. That if the Navi uproots part of Shabbos, part of kosher, part of a mitzvah, everybody says you're potter. U'v'avedas kechavim. And by idol worshipping, even if he says worship today and tomorrow not, chayiv is chayiv. What are you chayiv? Again, is the argument. Reb Chacham market is the Chachamim holds skila, and market is Reb Shimon holds chenek. Okay, meaning like this. Very simple. The argument again. So bottom line over here is like this. Everybody holds, according to both Rav Chisda and Rav Hamnuna and the brayso, a Navi that comes to uproot part of a mitzvah does not get punished. You're not allowed to do it, but he doesn't get punished. If he uproots Avodah Zarah or part of Avodah Zarah, argument, Reb Shimon says chenek, Chachamim say skila. What happens if he uproots an entire mitzvah? So, according to Rav Chisda, everybody says he gets chenek, strangulation. And Rav Hamnuna says, no, it's still the machlekes, Reb Shimon and Chachamim, if he gets skila or chenek. That's the so far the thing.
Also, Rav Hamnuna does agree that there's a machlekes for Avodah Zarah or part of Avodah Zarah.
Yeah, that by Avodah Zarah everybody agrees. The only difference is, if a guy uproots a whole other mitzvah, according to Rav Chisda, everybody says he gets chenek. According to Rav Hamnuna, the Chacham say you get skila. That's the whole difference. Now, Amar Ababu, Amar Rabbi Yechon, interesting thing. Ba'koil, in every other mitzvah. Im yemelach Navi aver al divrei Torah, if a Navi says temporarily transgressed mitzvahs, Shmalei listened to him. Like Eliyahu and Harakamo, remember we learned last week. Eliyahu made the altars in Harakamo, which he wasn't allowed to. So Gemara says, how was he allowed to go against Torah? So Gemara says he was a real Navi, proven to be a Navi, like Avram killing Yitzchak, right? And then, what the Bryce is saying over here is, Ramin, not Bryce, Rabbi name of Rabbi Yechanan, if a Navi who's established as a Navi, not a Yukul, Eliyahu Navi, or whatever, Avram Avinu, comes along and says, transgress part of him, it's temporarily, they're not uprooting the whole. Eliyahu Navi didn't say you can, now you can make altars all over the place. He didn't say that. He said now, at this place, at this time, you could do it. Listen to him. But chutz me'avedis kochavim, except when it comes to avodah zarah. Even if Eliyahu Navi will come and tell you worship idols, you're not allowed to listen to him. Why? Shafilu maimed lochama be'emsa rakiyah. He says, even if the Navi stops the sun in the middle of the sky, it means he does an unbelievable miracle. Yeah? He stops the sun, al tishmalei, don't listen to him. So in other words, here we're talking about the people. We're not talking about the person, the punishment. The shaila is, a Navi comes and says, okay, today, this Shabbos you don't keep. So then is, you listen to him. If he says go worship idols, you don't listen to him, even if he made such a big miracle that he stopped the sun in the middle of it, you don't listen to him. Tanya, the Gemara says, Bryce is supporting what Rabbi Yechanan just said. Rabbi said, the Torah goes into the mindset of Avodah Zarah, and he says they understand that people will get convinced to sin by doing a miracle. Therefore, therefore the Torah gives dominion to the prophets. Meaning, meaning like this. The Chachamim understood by Avodah Zarah that it's such a strong power that they're going to make miracles to prove to you to go worship idols. So that's why the Torah says don't listen to him. He's doing a miracle, don't listen to him. But by other mitzvahs, even if he doesn't perform a miracle, you listen to him. Tanya Amar Rabbi Kiva. Chas v'sholim. Rabbi Kiva said, what do you mean? The Navi comes along and says, he did a miracle. Yeah, that he held the sun, stopped. Rabbi Kiva, are you crazy? Hashem's going to do such a miracle for Avodah Zarah? He says, Amar Rabbi Kiva, Chas v'sholim shakadosh baruch hu ma'amid chama levin tzedek. What do you think? He says, Rabbi Kiva's arguing on the count. What do you mean the guy did a miracle that he stopped the sun, which is a tremendous miracle, because he's stopping the whole concept of nature. He says, Rabbi Kiva says, what are you, crazy? Hashem's going to do a miracle. What does it mean? It refers to a Navi like Hananya ben Ezer. Shemitchilase Navi emes. Initially, he was taka a real prophet. And then he became Avodah Zarah. So over there, to such a guy, when he's still good, Hashem will make a miracle. But then when that Navi, Hananya ben Ezer, comes and says, okay, worship idols, then you don't listen to him. So that's the Chachamim hold. It's interesting. The first opinion is, Bryce obviously holds that God will allow idol worshippers to do miracles. That's what it seems to be. No, I don't think he stopped the sun, but I'm saying a prophet like that, even if he would stop the sun, that's what you do with him. Because initially he was a good prophet. Then he became Eved Avodah Zarah.
But he's saying that God never stopped him to do a miracle for Avodah Zarah.
Right.
Rabbi Akiva.
That's what Rabbi Kiva holds. In fact, the pasuk over there says that when Hananya ben Ezer, Lachatchilu, what they say was a Navi Emes, was a Navi. Later on, he came to the people and said, you see, you know that I'm a real prophet. Now I'm telling you to go worship idols. So the Gemara said, then you don't listen to him. Hanani ben Isaac didn't do that miracle. The Gemara is saying, if he did, even if he did that miracle, you don't listen to him. Okay, now the din is like this. The next piece of Gemara. Zeimimei bas kohen. Okay. A bas kohen that commits adultery gets burnt. Remember we learned that Gemara before? She's an unique exception. Tama, right? A bas kohen that commits adultery gets only burning. The guy that lived with her gets chenek or skila, depending kedushin, marriage, whatever it was. But a bas kohen gets sreifa. Right now, we learned already there's a din eidin zaymimin, false witnesses. What do false witnesses say? Okay, so two people testify that this bas kohen committed adultery. So they want to make the girl get sreifa. That's what they're testifying. Then they became disproven. How did they become disproven? Like we said, how could you testify Monday morning that she committed adultery? Monday morning you were with us in China. Okay, so therefore, what do? You do to them what they wanted to do. So, what punishment should they be getting? Sreifa. The Mishnah says, we learned before in the Mishnah, they don't get sreifa. Why? So he says, Zem bas kohen, they get chenek. That's what our Mishnah said. So the Gemara said, Mino hani mili, where do you learn this out from? Because the Torah says, you do to them what they wanted to do to her, to the person they testified. Why didn't they get sreifa? So he says, Amar Rabbi Yosef, you do to them what they wanted to do to the brothers. The fish in all cases, women are condemned to death. Yeah, the guys that do Edom Zaymimin and the ones that committed the adultery, okay, are all treated with the same punishment as chenek, basically. Bas kohen, how about a bas kohen? He besreifa, she gets sreifa, vein b'ela besreifa. Meaning like this. You know why the Edom Zaymin don't get sreifa? Because even the guy that lived with her doesn't get sreifa. And the Torah says you do to them what he wanted to do to his brother. Now, when a guy commits adultery with a bas kohen, she gets sreifa, he gets chenek. So therefore, the Bryce is saying they don't get what she gets, they get what he gets. Then therefore, they get chenek. Right. So zeimimim. Now the Gemara says, how about Edom Zeimim im loy hukshu? But by Edom Zeimim, we don't know. Are they like her that gets sreifa, or they like the boil, the sinner, the man sinner gets chenek? The Torah says you do to them what they want to do to their brother, not to their sister. So therefore, what punishment he gave? The punishment of the man, not of the woman. Therefore, if a bas kohen committed adultery, the Edom Zayim get the punishment the man would have gotten, which anyway is not safe, it's either skill or chenek, depending when he did it. And therefore, the Edom Zayim are going to get the same punishment as him, not of her. Okay, we finished this parak. Let's just start the next parak. We have a few minutes. This is a lot of stories in this last parak of Sanhedrin. He starts off with the famous Mishnah. Kol Yisrael Yashlam Chelek L'Olam Haba. Okay, the first Mishnah we always say by Pirkei Avos, but this is the Mishnah where it comes from. Kol Yisrael Yashlam Chelek L'Olam Haba. Every Jew has a Chelek L'Olam Haba. Shem Avamech Chulam Tzadikim Leim Yeshuar Shneitzim Atoy Ma'aseh Yodei Lispar. Right? Tzadikim inherit the land, which is Gan Eden. They're the planting. They're the branch of my planting. They're the work of my hands to pride myself with. So the fact that it says Tzadikim Yeshuaretz, and because Amech Kulam Tzadikim, right? So therefore, every Jew has a Chelek in Olam Haba. Then the Mishnah says, Ve'ela she'ein lam Chelek L'Olam Haba. And these are the people that don't have Chelek L'Olam Haba. And it says the first one, Ha'ema ein Tchias HaMeisim min HaTeirah. The guy who denies Tchias HaMeisim. And that's why, when you learn Pirkei Avos, But the Mishnah is on Pirkei Avos. The Mishnah is in Sanhedrin. We just say it's introduction to Pirkei Avos. We say the Mishnah Kol Yisrael Yeshem Chilek Olam Haba. Now normally there's a big argument between Rambam and Ramban. What does Olam Haba mean? Does it mean Gan Eden or does it mean Tchias HaMesim? But here the Mefarshim explain, everybody says it means Tchias HaMesim. Why? Because what does the Mishnah say right away? Who doesn't get Olam Haba? A guy who denies Tchias HaMesim. So it's Midah Keneged Midah, deed for deed. So if you hear everybody says Olam Haba means Tchias HaMesim. Okay, who else doesn't get? A person who says Torah is not from heaven, okay? V'apikeres. And it's interesting. The Gemara later says, apikeres is one, not who doesn't believe in Torah, one who despises a Torah scholar. Meaning, he's a person who denies any fundamental principle of the Torah, or despises a single sage. That means if he doesn't hold of a certain sage, he's an apikeres. Rabbi Kiva says, Afakeri b'sfarim chitzayni. Also, anybody that reads external books, and again, the Gemara is going to explain what books are we talking about.
Secular books?
Well, the Gemara will discuss, is it the mean of a Zara books? The Gemara is going to talk later. V'aleicha shalamaka, okay, or a person, they used to do incarnation, they used to whisper on a wound to heal it. But that was a form of Avodah Zarah. Huh? Shenamar kol hamachla shesamti b'Mitzrayim lo yasim alecha. Okay? Because I am Hashem. Abba Shol omer afaheg Hashem b'yiseisa. Abba Shol says another guy that doesn't get Olam Haba is a guy who pronounces the name of Hashem the real way. Not the way we say Ad Hashem, Hashem. You know, they take the vowels of, like the Lahavdil billions of adults, like the blank witnesses, you know, the way they pronounce Hashem's name, the way it's written out, Yud Kei Vav Kei with the vowels. So that also holds there's no Chelek in Olam Haba. Okay? And then the Mishnah says like this: Shleishim Malachim, 3 kings, 4 simple people have no Chelek in Olam Haba. Who are the 3 kings? Yeravam, Achav, and Menashe. Okay? These are 3 Jewish kings who have no Chelek because they used to make the Jews worship idols. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Menashe yesh lo Chelek Olam Haba. Rabbi Yehuda argues, he says, no, Menashe has a Chelek in Olam Haba. Shenema v'yispalel elav, I'm sorry, v'yispalel elav, he davened for him, v'yishmat chinasei, he heard his prayers, v'yashivei Yerushalayim machusei, and he returned them back to be a king again. Right? Which means that Hashem accepted his tefillah. Amalei lemalchusei heshivei. So the Chacham say no, he still doesn't have a chelek olam haba. They put him back to be a king. They say, yeah, they put him back to a king, but not to Olam Haba. The Yehuda says they put him back even to Olam Haba. He says no. Who are the 4 simpletons that have no Chelek in Olam Haba? Bilam, Doeg, Achitofel, and Gehazi. To be discussed.